They told us a story, one we believed for generations, a tale of peace, wisdom, and harmony shattered by conquest. But what if everything we were taught about Native America was only half true? Because beneath the myths and the movies lies a darker, far more human story, one that history quietly buried. Intro: the myth we were sold. For most of my life, I was handed a comforting version of history. Noble tribes, living in balance with the earth, until greedy Europeans arrived and destroyed it all. It's what our schools taught us. It's what Hollywood reinforced. A story that makes us feel righteous simply for feeling guilty. But when you start digging, really digging, that clean good versus evil narrative begins to unravel. The truth behind the frontier. Long before a single European ship touched North American shores, the continent was already soaked in blood. Warfare wasn't an invention of colonization, it was a part of existence. Scalping, raiding, and torture weren't foreign imports. They were traditions, woven into the way many tribes defined courage, honor, and manhood. A young warrior didn't earn respect by planting crops or crafting homes. He earned it through bravery in battle, through the trophies he carried and the stories his scars told. Violence wasn't chaos, it was ceremony. It was social currency. A world of blood and honor. At sites like Crow Creek, nearly 500 villagers were found massacred, centuries before Columbus. Scalps taken, bodies burned. This was how glory was measured, not by victory, but by endurance. Captives who met torture with stoic silence were revered as heroes, even by their enemies. And yet, this doesn't make one side the villain and the other the victim. Because when Europe arrived, it didn't bring peace. It brought a new level of destruction. Two brutal worlds collided, and mercy became extinct. When worlds clashed. European armies marched under banners and rules. They declared wars, wore uniforms, and called it honor. But the frontier? It followed no rules. Raids struck without warning, families vanished at dawn, and revenge became the only law anyone trusted. Settlers learned quickly. If they didn't adapt to the ways of the wild, they wouldn't survive it. They became as ruthless as those they feared, forming ranger units that struck back with equal savagery. The war had no heroes, only survivors. The Shadow Empire, the Comanche. And then came the Comanche, masters of the plains. For over a century, they ruled the heart of the continent like an empire without borders. With unmatched horsemanship, they turned mobility into power, riding at full speed, hanging from one side of their horse, firing arrows with deadly precision. Even generals admitted, fighting them meant ruin. Their raids stretched from Texas to Mexico, their dominance so complete it reshaped entire borders. But behind the glory was a cycle of slavery, revenge, and blood that spared no one, not even themselves. A woman between worlds. Take Cynthia Ann Parker, a 9-year-old girl captured in a Comanche raid, raised among them, married a chief, bore children, until she was rescued decades later. Only, she didn't want to be rescued. She screamed, fought, tried to escape. To her, the Comanche weren't captors. They were home. One of her sons, Quanah Parker, would become the last great chief, a symbol of a people caught between extinction and survival. The long fall. But the war gods of the plains couldn't withstand time. Disease, starvation, and new weapons crushed what even empires couldn't. The bison were slaughtered by the millions. Entire nations faded, not from battle, but from sickness carried by invisible invaders, germs. The deadliest weapon was never forged from steel. It was microscopic. The final truth. Over 500 treaties signed, almost everyone broken. 3 centuries of war left no side innocent, and the deeper you dig, the clearer it becomes. This wasn't a battle between good and evil. It was a collision between civilizations, both brutal, both brilliant, both desperate to survive. To truly honor Native Americans, or the settlers who faced them, we must see them as they were, human, flawed, fierce, not saints, not monsters, just people caught in the storm of history. History isn't black and white, it's written in blood, ashes, and truth that makes us uncomfortable. If you want more stories that challenge what we think we know, Like, share, and follow for more untold chapters of the past.